Spirit Island Sunday, Sharp Fangs Behind the Leaves, for 2. Good day, my name is Joe Gerba. Welcome to Spirit Island Sunday. We'll be talking about Sharp Fangs Behind the Leaves. And this was introduced with the Branch and Claw expansion. This spirit uses these beast tokens that are with this box. It also uses a lot of the event cards that are with this one and Jagged Earth. A lot of the beast tokens can pick off invaders and have various effects on a lot of these event cards. So let's see a little bit more about this spirit. So let's talk about the special rules. The first one is Ally of the Beast. This one's kind of like the Thunder Speaker, which we talked about a couple weeks ago, where if a beast moves, you can move your spirit or your presence along with it. The second one is Call Forth Predators. During the spirit phase, you may replace one of your presents with a beast token, and it's actually removed from the game. It's not necessarily destroyed, but it's removed from the game. Kind of a situational ability. Maybe you have something in your hand that can really utilize this, but an odd ability, but can be useful later in the game. So let's talk about the growth options. I love these pick 2, as you guys kind of know. Let's skip the first one for now and go straight into the add a presence to a jungle or a lane with the beast, 3 away from one of your presents. This is great. A lot of your cards do need to be a distance from a jungle with your presence. So you really want to protect your jungles and presence, and especially if you have beast tokens in there, it can really aid you, throughout the whole game, and you really need to make sure that those jungles are protected. The next option is gain a power card, gain an energy. Pretty straightforward, just a way to kind of cycle through, try to see more of the cards, get more of the beast tokens, which we'll see in the innate powers, so you can really enhance this spirit. This is a really good option to always be getting cards throughout the game and a little bit of energy. The last option, if you're energy starved, just straight up 3 energy, which you need one of those 2 to go on to the first one, which is it costs you an energy to reclaim your cards and gain a power card. Now this is kind of interesting. It's the first one we've seen that costs an energy to reclaim, but it's just interesting. It kind of drains you a little bit, but you have a lot of energy options. The energy track on Sharp Fangs isn't the greatest, but you'll have plenty throughout the game, especially since you can pick 2. So let's go into the presence track a little bit. As you can see, kind of start off with 1 energy and 2 card plays. Now that's kind of nice. A lot of these spirits start with 1 card play. You innately just start with 2, even if you don't add a presence on the first turn, which you probably should, but the second card play kind of opens up even the 2, and then you start getting into the 3. But the top track, you gain energy kind of slowly, but you do gain these animals and plants on the first 2. These can really help your innate powers, really help get you jump started and get moving these beasts along in the innate powers, which we'll see in a few minutes. You cap out about 4 energy, which should be plenty for this spirit unless you're trying to play some of these major powers. This spirit doesn't cost a whole lot of energy, but you'll need constant 2 flowing in per turn usually to make sure that you get the maximum card plays out. Your actual card plays, like I said, you start with 2, go to 3, and then you have the one that I like, the Reclaim 1, and then you get to the 4, and then you can reclaim another one. So if you do max out that last track, you can always reclaim 2 back into your hand. Now this is really neat, especially if you have some 0 costing, some nice beast icons and plant icons that you want to play every turn, that you can with this reclaim 2 if you can max out this bottom track. This is a neat presence track that'll really keep you, the choice really high with this spirit. Now let's talk about the innate powers. The Raging Hunt is the first one, and this one just for 2 beast tokens, which all your cards have a starting beast icon, and your presence track, you'll definitely have this most turns throughout the game. You'll be able, as a fast power, it'll land without a blight, so you want to make sure you don't have any blight in the target land. You'll be you can gather a beast token. These are really nice just to be able to get around. A lot of your cards interact with these beast tokens. So you want to gather, and remember, most of your presents are going to be within the forest. So it'll be one away from the forest. So you really want to make sure, or that the jungle, sorry, you have presents in the jungles ready to push some of these. Once you get into the 2 or 3 card plays and you have an extra beast icon and a couple plants, you can do 1 damage per beast icon. This can be great for that beast icon to really plink off a settler before it builds. Remember, this is a fast action, so you can also gather and do this 1 damage per. Now what's neat about these powers, and once you get to the final one, you can push up to 2. So it's really neat to be able to do all these things to decide which order you want to do these things. Do you want to push, pull the beast, do a damage, pull them back, do a damage, push them? Just really neat movement for these beast tokens. Now let's go on to Frenzied Assault. This one's a little bit different to play. As a slow power, 1 away from, one of your presents. You have to target a land with a beast token. So once again, using the beast tokens. It does cost quite a bit to get out, but you shouldn't have a problem getting some of these beast tokens. 1 fear and 2 damage. However, you remove the beast token. Now these are pretty precious in the early part of the game, and there's not a whole lot of cards that add them. Some of the events may add them. You do have 1 card in your hand that'll add these beast tokens, but removing them, you really need to be strategic on how you remove them. Now, if you're able to get the big one of these, it's 2 fear and +1 damage. So it's 3 damage for a beast token. This is great and awesome. Can even take out a city. You're going to have a really hard time taking out some of these cities. You're going to be great at plinking off settlers and towns, but cities are going to be a little bit, of a tougher time for you. And this can be a great way at the end of the game or in the middle to kind of pick off a city, unexpectedly. So it's a slow power, kind of tough to use, but a great tool in the toolkit. Now let's go into the cards. The first card I want to talk about is Too Near the Jungle. This in your starting hand is kind of just a neat card. It's odd to play. It is 0, slow power. You need to have a presence in a jungle, which you probably should have 1 or 2 at the start of the game. 1 fear, just a little bit, and plink off a settler. This is a fantastic card because once it costs 0, has a beast and plant icon, which you need. However, it's a slow power, so you have to wait until that card's revealed, and hopefully you didn't misplace, or you can at least plink off a settler to get some use out of this card. Slow power, you don't know what's going to happen on the top of that settler deck. You really want to prevent some of the explore, or once they explore, you can really get it off before they get to build and ravage and kind of get that momentum going. Great card, costs 0, slow power, can be hit or miss, but most of the time it will be a hit. Next card I want to talk about is Prey on the Builders. This is an interesting card as well. Fast power, but you have to target a land that you have presence in. You may gather a beast, so usually these beasts are in and around most of your lands. If the target land has a beast, invaders do not build there this turn. So your jungles, like I said earlier, are very precious. You don't want any blight in them. You really need to make sure that they're protected. And if there's a single settler in a jungle, this is a great way so they don't build or just prevent a town and building a city. This is a great card just to make sure that no escalation can happen in a place that you have your presence. So I recommend probably putting this in one with just a single settler, gather the beast in, and they won't build, and then you can kind of take care of them next turn. Cost 1, doesn't have the plant icon, but it may be one of your ways to get this Frenzied Assault, as it does have the moon and the fire throughout the game. Let's go into the third card I want to talk about, Terrifying Chase. Now, as the third card in your hand is a slow power, as you have to target a land with your presence. You can just push settlers out. You can push 2 settlers out. You can push a town out. You can push to hand. And you can push another 2 town or to hand if you have a beast in it, which you may from these fast powers or may from a power in your hand. And this is just nice because if you push invaders, you also generate some fear. So this is a good way to be able to push invaders and determine, do you have enough to hand there to take care of some ravaging next turn? You do need some careful thought. Will cost you 1 as a slow power, so you kind of have to know that there's going to be a settler there. It may build a town there this turn, and then you can use this power. You need a little bit of forethought. Really needs to be utilized to the best after the build, especially you have to do it in an area you have your presence, but you remember your presence, you don't want any blight in your jungles, so you really need to push them out of your areas. And if you have Dahan or Beast, you can really take care of the rest. Finally, what I think is the bread and butter of Sharp Fangs is Teeth Gleam from Darkness. As your last card, slow power, needs 1 away from a jungle. The area that you target cannot have a blight, so need to make sure that your island's not too blighted. But it's 1 fear, and you add a beast token. Now, not all times are you going to have the ability to add beast tokens. Some of them, they disappear and blink off settlers throughout some of the events. This is a great way to replenish some of the beast on the island, and later during the reclaims, you can definitely play this every turn. Now, if the target land has a beast and invaders, you also generate 3 fear. This is just a great overall power, and what I think is the bread and butter of this spirit. It helps you with frenzied assault. It helps you with getting your raging hunt. It has the icons. You'll be playing this almost when you can, especially when you reclaim. This is and probably will be a go-to card. Now, to wrap things up for 2, I really like this spirit. It needs a lot of interaction, like most of the spirits, but being able to place and manipulate these beast tokens, push and pull. You may not be able to deal with the cities too well, but playing off settlers and towns are just so much fun with this character, or with this spirit, sorry. I like this spirit. I think it's fun to play. It may not be the most impactful, but fear is generated. A lot of offense, a lot of control. You don't have a lot of defense going on. You don't have a lot of defend. You're going to get some blight on the island, but hopefully you can pick off those settlers before they can come, into fruition and make these, large mega cities. The events may be kind of hit or miss for you, it can kind of stink, but it can also make these beast tokens really beneficial during the game if they can pick off a settler in a town here or there. Anytime your beast tokens can do something for you outside of your turn is just an added benefit, as long as they're on the board and can't go away. I really like the reclaiming powers, especially once you can get what I think the Teeth Gleam from Darkness. What a great starting card that Sharp Fangs has. And its spirit's just a lot of fun to maneuver, manipulate, high offense, high octane, really protect those jungles. A lot of fun to play. Like I said, you're gonna have a hard time with the mega cities, but I won't say no to this spirit. Hope you guys like this kind of overview of the Sharp Fangs, and you can see the benefit and how fun that this spirit can be to play. So hope you guys enjoyed the overview, and until next time.